I'll tell you the reason that I'm running for Secretary of State is because there was a concerted leftist attack on our elections. They're trying to turn our state blue by subverting the integrity of our elections. And I'll just talk about 3 bills that I've passed as chairman of the House Elections Committee to kind of illustrate this point. One of the things I've been working on my entire time as chairman of the House Elections Committee, we finally got it done last year, is we repealed the 3-day grace period. So we're not going to be taking ballots days after the election like they do in California, which is why they take forever to count. But and election day is going to be election day again. However, there's a group of organizations out there that hate when I call this, so I call this all the time. The Axis of Ballot Harvesting, the ACLU, League of Women Voters, Light, Appleseed Coalition. They're just awash in foreign billionaire money, George Soros money. They're campaigning against this constitutional amendment, but they also sue us on every law that we pass to secure our elections. And you know, they have so much money, they've hired Hillary Clinton's Russiagate lawyer, Elias Group, and they just camped out here in Kansas. And they just sue us on every elections law. Well, last week, they got an injunction on that law to repeal the 3-day grace period. After the mail-in ballots had already gone out, they're now forcing this activist judge, Lawrence, is now forcing the clerks to take those ballots after Election Day. Another bill we passed, did everybody see President Trump's speech on election integrity the other night? Well, 2 things that he raised were dead people on our voter rolls and non-citizens on our voter rolls. Well, last year I had a hearing on our voter rolls. We found out we have more people 65 years or older on our voter rolls than we have humans 65 years or older in the state of Kansas. It's not that our clerks are bad people, it's just they can only do what we authorize them to do. So you know the SAFE Act, the Save America Act that's drafted in Congress? Well, we're not waiting for Congress. Sorry, Congressman. We passed the Save Kansas Act here in Kansas. And a couple things it does. First is I hear all over the state, people say my mom, my dad, my spouse has passed away, but they're still in the voter rolls. Well now, starting on July 1st, you can walk in the clerk's office, sign a sworn statement, and have them taken off the voter rolls so that they passed away. On non-citizens, a lot of people don't know this, but in addition to being a motor voter state, federal law has also made us a food stamp voter state, a welfare voter state, a Medicaid voter state, because those offices are also required to ask, do you want to register to vote? Well, Conrad Kelly isn't waiting for you to say yes. She's been sending a voter registration form to everybody. Citizen, non-citizen, illegal alien, they're all getting voter registration forms. So the Save Kansas Act also requires that those agencies send a list of people, non-citizens, that are getting benefits to the Secretary of State's office so we can make sure they're not ending up on the voter rolls. Well, you know what? We're getting sued on that one too. The ACLU is notified Secretary of State's office they're going to sue them. I guess they don't want us disenfranchising dead people and non-citizens, I guess? I don't know. But this is a concerted effort. And the reason I'm talking about it is I don't have a primary opponent, but my Democrat opponent is backed by a PAC. It's called March on PAC. It's also a 501c3 and c4, Awash, and all the same money. George Soros money, foreign billionaire money. They're trying to flip the Secretary of State seat. Because when they sue the Secretary of State's office. If they have a Democrat Secretary of State, they won't fight it. They'll just roll over and say, we're not going to enforce any of these laws. And if you want to know what a Democrat Secretary of State looks like in a red state, look at Colorado, look at Michigan, look at Wisconsin, look at Minnesota. Those are all red states, and then they got Democrat Secretaries of State, and now they're blue states. So I encourage you to support your favorite Republican candidate in the gubernatorial primary. I encourage you to get everybody out for the constitutional amendment campaign. But as soon as that election's over, I need your help to keep Kansas red. I'd be honored to serve you as your next Secretary of State. Thank you.